Half the panel.
Thank you so much. I love the fact that my colleagues are referring to gaslighting when we're talking about this whole insane, ridiculous gas stove conspiracy theory. It is so absurd. It really is off the charts, even for this House majority. Look, they seized upon an inartful statement by one government official and, shall we say, cooked up this crazy theory that someone's coming to get your gas stoves. We are talking about a regulation that is forward-looking, does not look at past stoves, looks at stoves to be sold in the future, where the government agency went out, it studied the stoves currently on the market, found that half of them already meet the standard, gave the rest of them 3 years to come up to snuff. That's pretty much how this stuff works. It's common sense. But instead, we have, people defending their propane. It's crazy. I have a gas stove. I intend to use it. So does everybody else. It's like when you decide that there's a new airbag model that needs to be used because the old one's killing people, okay? You revise your regulations and you move forward based upon the best available evidence. So this is just, I can't believe we're having to debate a bill entitled Gas Stoves and Freedom. This is bullshit. Sorry. Is there anything you would like to add, Mr. Plum?
Well, I just, look, if I could just add to what you said. If I know that there's some on the other side of the aisle that think that everything that we do, that agencies do, should be done by Congress and not by the agencies. I understand that, and I, of course, don't agree with that because I don't know how we could possibly spend all our time regulating every appliance and, determining what's hazardous and what's efficient. I mean, we have to rely on the agencies to do that. And essentially what these two bills say is no, we're not doing that, right? In other words, we're not going to let the agency that decides whether there's hazards or safety problems do their job, and we're going to never allow them to do it again, right? We're not going to allow the agency that tries to make things more efficient and save money and, and do things more efficiently do their job because we don't believe that they know what they're talking about. The previous conversation here was about how everything that the DOE has done to make the appliances more efficient is false, right? I mean, I guess we could sit here and debate whether, forever, whether we think the information that they've gathered in order to say this is what, how we can make these gas stoves more efficient, is false. And we could spend hours on it. But my whole point is, how do we do that in Congress? We can't spend all our time questioning these agencies. That's what these agencies are for. And understand that the way these bills are written, it's not only that they would cancel these proposed rules, and it's only a proposed rule, right? But they would never allow them to deal with it again. And so they're basically saying, what's the point of having the agency? But the biggest problem is that even Mr. Duncan, who I admire, keeps saying that the administration is banning gas stoves. That's not what they're doing. It's simply not. And maybe somebody said that. I mean, I read the headline in the New York, what is it, the Daily Post, the Daily News or the New York Post one day about the mayor banning gas stoves. He may have, I don't know. But that's not what this administration is doing. So why do you keep saying we're banning gas stoves? That's not what we're doing. We're dealing with efficiency. We're dealing with hazards. And don't tell these agencies that they can't deal with that anymore, because otherwise, I don't know how we're going to substitute ourselves for that, which is essentially what I think the Republicans are saying. I think that's the wrong thing to do. So thank you.
I know as a consumer, when I go to buy a new stove or refrigerator or the bench freezer for my cellar, I'm going to look at the energy efficiency ratings that these things have because I want to save money. I mean, that's the fiscally responsible thing to do as a consumer. So I absolutely want our federal agencies weighing in on that. But beyond that, the basic premise behind this whole effort with this rule is just wrong. If we take the Department of Energy regulation that has come under fire, or that they're trying to torch, I don't know, however we want to put it. That regulation was put together as a result of Congress authorizing the Department of Energy to regulate energy consumption of conventional cooking products, including gas stoves, under the Energy Policy and Conservation Act of 1975. And then in 1987, Congress enacted the National Appliance Energy Conservation Act, which established minimum efficiency standards. So Congress has already acted here and told the agency, this is what you need to do to administer the laws that Congress is enacting. So it's entirely something Congress has acted upon. It's working within whatever the current factors are. And isn't there an issue with respect to one of the regulations that they're trying to address here, that there's a court order saying that these regulations have to occur now, that the energy or that the agency has to implement one of these regulations?
I don't know specifically about the court, but yeah, I mean, the agency has the obligation to do this. There's no question.
Okay, and that's as part of executing the will of Congress.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Thank you. The distinguished Vice Chair of the committees.
I'll pass some questions.